How are you? Good to see you. Okay. I like to watch you guys in action.
All right, at this time, we're going to open up for public hearing. So if you would, this is our full commission meeting. So this, our public hearing, remember we passed a resolution that we would have our public hearings at the same time to maximize our effort there. So at this time, we're going to have a public hearing, open up to the public for a zoning resolution. That's 012501 Zulu. That's requested by James Muncie for developing some property. What is that road? High Point Orchard. So at this time, does anyone want to address the county commission on this property zoning resolution? Anyone? All right, hearing none, seeing none, we'll close out the public hearing and go straight into our county commission.
All rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This honorable commissioner meeting of Roane County, Tennessee is now in session. The Honorable Chairman Shannon Hester presiding. God bless these United States, the great state of Tennessee, in this honorable meeting. This time, please join me for the pledge to our nation's flag. Afterwards, please remain standing for prayer from Commissioner Hooks. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, if you would give me just a moment, I'd like to thank all the commissioners that had kept up with me, sent me emails, sent me texts, sent me sticks to keep my wife in line. All the office holders that I heard from, it's just amazing. It's just amazing how many friends you got, and I want to thank you all for that. I want to thank the Lord for walking with me through this path. I'm getting stronger every day. Still a little short-winded, but I love y'all, and I appreciate everything y'all have done. Let's bow our heads. Our Father, as we come to you so humbly, Lord, thanking you, Father, for watching over me, laying that hand of comfort upon me. Father, and I pray, God, Father, here this evening, that, Father, Lord, that you'd help us, God, as we go into our agenda, Father, God, that we can do things, Lord, that would help the people of Roane County, especially those, Lord, are without, that need you in a great way. Those that are homeless, those that, Father, Lord, really can't go to the grocery store and buy what they want to eat. We ask, Lord, that you'd help those, Father, because that's what it's all about, is helping our brothers and sisters in Christ. Bless the ones that are trying to keep this great county together and moving smoothly, and we'll thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. This time you may be seated. Please silence your phones.
All right, go ahead and vote if you hadn't so. Mr. Hooks, the things we do for a good old country boy. All right, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the December 9th, 2024 meeting.
We're doing the resolution.
Yep. You want to, oh, straight into 16 now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, for time, we're going to go ahead and open up and go to resolution number 16. We've got a guest that has to get out of here and go to the Oak Ridge city meeting tonight. So go to item 16, which is, that's a resolution approving the economic impact for the Roane project development area. So motion by Berry, a second by Wilson. Commissioner Berry.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the first thing, just a little bit of upbreaking on the wording on page 6 under overview, down underneath A overview, down on the third line where it says in nation. That should be in the nation in recent years. And on page 7, auxiliary tax revenues, instead of sales taxes, that should just be sales tax. I guess the thing that sticks out most on this resolution to me was, under the utility infrastructure improvements, where it's talking about, it's expected that the city, being Oak Ridge, the county, and the state would all put in, under this one, it says approximately 15 million. I don't know that we know that number, but divide that evenly. But if we divide it evenly, it's sort of like a development. When you put a new development in, the developer takes the utilities and the infrastructure to do that job. Here, we're being asked to put in the same amount of money as the city of Oak Ridge Utilities would be putting in, but yet we have no way to derive any revenue from that, where the city of Oak Ridge Utilities would be deriving their expenditures via the revenues of monthly payments. So, do you want to introduce our attorney first before we?
Thank you. Before you do that, I got a second on the floor here, so let me go through the second. Mr. Wilson.
I have nothing further, go ahead.
All right, send it.
Thank you, Commissioner. So before you, this is the economic impact plan for Roane. As you see, this is the actual plan that formalizes the terms that you all approved on the morning of September 4th when we met in the Chancery Court. So at that meeting, you approved a term sheet that Mark Mamontoff, who's the attorney for the Oak Ridge IDB and has represented us all along through the negotiations and even to now with the Roane, that he has been able to take that term sheet that you and the city approved to then finalize this agreement that is now before you. So that's what we're voting on tonight. The process that this happened was once it was created, I guess the terms were agreed to in principle by each side, that the Oak Ridge IDB, who is the one administering this TIF, then had to vote to recommend it be approved by this body and the Oak Ridge City Council to finalize it. And that's where we are tonight. So they met 1 week ago today on the 6th and voted to do that. So that's what brings us to tonight. Oak Ridge City Council meets at 7 o'clock, meeting at 6. So Mark is here to answer any questions. So we moved him to the front of this agenda, and Mayor Gooch is moving that resolution to the end of the Oak Ridge City Council agenda tonight. So with that being said, just to kind of give you some context where we're here. Mark, would you come forward and provide your perspective and be able to answer any questions that we have?
Yes, it's so good to see all you guys again. I'm Mark Mamontoff. I'm a boring bond lawyer, and I helped draft this plan. So if y'all remember, when you're doing tax increment incentive like this, these guys couldn't do a pilot. Normally, if you got a big project like this in Roane County, we would do tax abatement. What people like to call pilot because it sounds better, but it's basically tax abatement. Here, we couldn't do it because of the nuclear stuff. It's the security. So I know you all probably remember that, but that's why we're going through this rigmarole of creating this tax increment plan. This step of the plan, as Wade was telling you, would allow for the allocation of the increment consistent with the term sheet, the city and the county going in equally. Just to clarify a little bit, this is not a contract with the county, so you're not legally binding yourself yet. And Commissioner Berry and I have talked some, and I certainly, he asked me if I understood his point, and I totally get it. I just sort of, I'm helping both the city and the county here, trying to make this as smooth as possible, but it's a very fair point, and it's something that's just gonna need to be hashed out. There will be an agreement that will come back to you guys to say, how will you all contribute to the utilities? If you approve this tonight, I know it's a concern, I do want to get your 2 tacos before I go, if you don't mind, so I can make sure I correct those. But this does not bind you to spend a specific amount of money on utilities. That would be a separate thing. I know I doubt you all are still thinking, how would we pay our share if we agree to do this? I know that, the city would like it to be equally. I know they would want me to say that, but you are not committing to do that. This plan, the language in there about the utilities is just more for information. It does not legally commit you all to spend equally with anyone else, and will need to be you know, I greatly, Commissioner Barry came to the public hearing and stuff, and I should report to you that we had one person show up. He's such a nice man, I cannot remember his name. Doug, I knew Doug, but Cole Placer came and he gave a little bit of history of the site, but no negative comments. This is an amazing, Roane County and Oak Ridge for nuclear stuff is just, I don't think there's any other place like this in the country. So everything went smoothly there, and they recommended this to you. But glad to answer questions. This, yeah, just a little, Arana wanted to see us moving forward to be, I mean, we have a development agreement, which I promised you guys we would send you, let you see it, we'll certainly get it to Wade. It's just wasn't quite ready for prime time yet. It's about 40, 50 pages long. That would implement more of the specifics of the term sheet, and then we'll have some sort of utility infrastructure agreement that at some point will come to you guys as well. So
at that, having said that, the first thing we want to make sure of is we're for this project. We've already indicated.
yes,
We're immensely for this project. I'm reminded of 25 years ago, we ran into something similar in utilities for Loudoun County when we were doing the industrial park. We paid for a sewer line. We got nothing in return, and now they're flourishing, and we're watching them flush our sewer line. So that's the thing. The other thing in here, it said that that the city IDB would not have to borrow, expected that they wouldn't have to borrow any money and pay any interest. So that was another thing. Could we get some language in there that says if they had to borrow some money, they come back? We've sort of been neglected in a lot of things. But some language that would say they have to come back to us to be able to borrow any additional monies or anything.
yeah, that's a great point. A lot of, this is not what, in my sort of world, TIFs, tax increment financing, would involve a borrowing. I specifically drafted it so that would not be the case. And so this plan does not authorize that borrowing. So if they ever want to do that, they'd have to come back and amend the plan to come see you guys again.
So all we're doing tonight then is basically just going back and voting a second time on a starting
Yes.
document.
Yes, the term sheet was to say, guys, are you in on this deal? And you all said, we're in. And you're telling me that again tonight, I think.
And we're in tonight.
Yeah, we're in tonight. This step is a procedural step to authorize this tax increment allocation. We still have more steps to go.
So what will be next? What will be next in line?
Next in line, I'm gonna get a draft of the development agreement out, which we'll certainly share with your team, with the IDB, with your lawyer for the IDB, Justin, and all your guys, and then obviously the city as well. If anybody wants to comment on it, that will be an important document. The utilities will probably start coming up soon, but they have 2, 3, I mean, DOE's not gonna give them that property for 2 or 3 years, but they want to know that they're getting everything up. They don't wanna spend hundreds of millions of dollars probably just on design costs and everything they're doing. I mean, Jean-Luc, every time I turn around, he's here in Roane County, Oak Ridge, you know, and I think they're wanting to be good citizens, and they just want to know that they're going to, this is sort of a check to get, you know, on their list to say, hey, you got that one marked up. Next would be the development agreement, and then we're gonna have some conversations about utilities and how that's gonna be implemented. I think you made an excellent point, Commissioner Berry, is that I'm not sure, the $15 million is a very rough estimate that I think that Oak Ridge got from some, you know, from their I don't know if that, we're gonna have to fine tune that, because I mean, you, as they would say, or, you know, in East Tennessee, that you don't wanna buy a pig and poke, and so you need to know what you're getting.
A couple points to Commissioner Berry's question. When you look at what's out there right now, what we're talking about with this $15 million is really building the substation. It's building the infrastructure. It gets the needed power to that site. And they project that after full build out of that site, they're looking at about 80 megawatts. 10 years ago, 80 megawatts would have blown our minds. But if you look at what TriSo-X is gonna need, if you haven't been out to Horizon Center lately and looked at the dirt that they're moving out there, it's amazing. And then we're working prospects on, potentially on either side of TriSo-X. And so if you count up the power that's gonna be needed that will be utilizing this infrastructure that we're talking about, you know, funding, it's about 150 megawatts. That's just, again, mind-blowing. So this isn't just a Rono specific per se. This helps continue for us to invest in building the infrastructure out there in the city of Oak Ridge that builds out the reservation for really high-paying jobs and an incredible amount of tax money.
And I think that's the other side of this, is that, you know, there's gonna be lots of other usage for this utility money than just a Rono. We would be laying the groundwork. Right. And so I think all of that is combined, and I think that says it perfectly, is that, you know, as they add their infrastructure all up and down that corridor, that's our money as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Anderson, do you have anything? Okay.
I think you got answered, thank you.
Sir, I got one question for you.
Yes, sir.
This is a TIF, correct? So I'm not somewhat familiar with pilot. So when this company, Roano's up and running, and they're producing and selling to Duke Energy, TVA, you know, Texas, Georgia, wherever they're selling their low yield uranium, is there then a sales tax on that product when they sell it?
That's a great question. And the reason I'm not, some people just say that, the reason it's a great question is it's a little bit unclear under Tennessee law, and I know Roano is working with the commissioner, the governor's office to try to resolve that issue. I think you may know more about it than I do, but they've hired, the gentleman that's representing them on this tax increment, Tom Trent, they sort of at the main sort of firm in Nashville. I'm in Knoxville, but my law firm is based in Nashville, and I know they're working on that issue. I think that if there is sales tax on it, it would make it quite cost prohibitive. I know it's something they're worried about. So I really don't want to mislead you and say, hey, you're going to get a bunch of local option sales tax off this, because I just really don't know. Do you know?
I don't know what a pound of uranium sells for, but
Mr. Chairman, 73, 74, we got $2.8 million off of enriched uranium from Oak Ridge then. And then what they were doing is I guess we had some folks that were pretty smart. So we had uranium coming in, we didn't, and so what we got taxed off of was the difference between what came in and what left, which is what I think is what you're asking. So unless something has changed,
Yeah,
I know there was a precedent in the 70s that we got money.
And I think you're right, and that's what, I've just personally not been involved in that side of it, so I would be thinking, I think they're trying to address it, or at least mitigate it to some extent, to keep it, you know, to try to keep it affordable, but I'm sorry, I don't have the answer clearly for you tonight. I can definitely get the answer for you. If
yeah, please, I know it's a hot item.
Yes.
In more ways than one, but SMRs are the way of the future. You know, TVA's building 4 right there near that site, so there's a reason, and they will sell every bit that they make.
And Roano is the big dog, but I think you'll see other nuclear processing and sales there, so it's obviously a really big issue for the county. So.
Thank you, sir.
I'll get you an answer, and I'll get it through Wade, get you an update.
I'm going to ask the question nobody else is going to ask. So they're asking us to take 15 million of our taxpayers' dollars.
No, it'd be
Fund
5.
another city.
It'd be split 3 ways.
3 ways, okay, all right. But we're not going to get no return off the utility for our fund. I mean, that'd be like me paying somebody's down payment of a car and never get right. So, you know, I know we need to look at the big picture, but, you know, weights and balances.
Can I ask a question to Mark that will
Yes,
clarify the exact same thing? Because me and Mr. Berry were talking about this today. So, tri-party agreement to fund infrastructure. And I think, this is my question to you, Mark. You have the Oak Ridge utilities. Financially, they can't mix funds with the city of Oak Ridge. So, my question is it the county, the city, and the state equally funding money to the utilities as a separate entity to install the infrastructure? Would that be what the development agreement would include?
That's my understanding. Now, we haven't signed the development agreement yet. And remember, this will be a separate agreement on the tri-party that you all will get to vote on. I want to make sure, sir, you understand. I'm not here today to say you are not agreeing tonight to approve a contract that would require you to spend $5 million.
Well, you know, I get concerned when we're sending money
Yes,
somewhere else and we got infrastructure here that needs it.
I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's a very fair point.
And I know
Mr.
there's a bigger picture,
Yeah.
but still,
Did you understand my question?
I did, but it's like
You
you're
really being
saying,
a separate entity that, see, the city would be just like us in that arrangement.
well, you know, us taxpayers, we all say, it ain't what you done for me, what have you done for me lately? And, you know, well, lately I give so many millions to Old Green City for infrastructure. But I know it's gonna generate jobs and tax revenues and all that, but still yet, somebody needs to ask a question. That's all I need, thank you.
All right, any other discussion on the topic? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, resolution carries majority. Thank you, sir. All right, let's fall back into order here, because I know he's got to drive to Oak Ridge right now. Need a motion to approve minutes of the December 9th, 2024 meeting. Motion by Duff, a second by Hooks. Commissioner Duff.
Nothing.
Commissioner Hooks. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carried. Acceptance of committee reports and correspondence. Motion by, I'm sorry, Mary, you had one.
I got it.
You got it? Okay. I didn't see the motion. Motion by Duff, second by Gann. Commissioner Duff.
Nothing.
Commissioner Gann.
Nothing further, sir.
Any discussion, any debate? Commissioner Berry.
Yes, sir, just one item, Mr. Chairman, on number 7, on the tourism committee meeting, we had a really good discussion on our hotel motel situations in the county, and it's one that we've been talking about for years, but we're gonna try to meet with the current owners first of the hotel motels that we have and see if there's some way that we can have them move to start with a better situation than we have now, whether that's renovating, tearing down, or whatever, and see if there's some kind of incentives that we can use. Right now, we're doing a great job of getting people in the county, especially fishing tournaments, but we have no place for them to stay. So most of them are going to Lenore City or Knoxville or Spring City. I mean, so we're really losing out on what we're trying to, and what we are spending for advertisement and those kinds of things. So I just wanted to let you know that we may be bringing something back here in terms of hotel motel situations to try to either build some new ones or do something with the old ones. People just aren't going to stay in the ones from the '60s any longer. You know, they like their security too much to coming off the street anymore. So I just wanted to bring that to our attention that we're going to be doing something with that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any other discussion or any other debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries. Notaries. All right, notaries are posted for you. Do I have a motion? Motion by Wilson, second by Henderson. Commissioner Wilson. Commissioner Henderson.
Appreciate their willingness to serve.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries, 15 majority. All right, at this time is hearing from our delegation, so if you want to address the county commission, please come forward and do so at this time. Please limit your time to 3 minutes.
just want to introduce myself. Mine's Brian Walker. I'm the 911 director for the county. Talked to Commissioner Brackett and some of you guys, and I guess there's been some question on some of the 911 addressing. I've talked to Mr. Lefevue in the past, and something I wanted to bring forward before, spoke to Mayor Wade and stuff in the past, and kind of got put on hold for some of the stuff we were doing inside. Those that don't know me, I came from the sheriff's office. I've now been at the 911 center for a couple of years now. So I'm kind of getting my feet into where now I'm ready to start making some progress on these addressing. I don't know exactly the next move to make, so I'm coming to you guys to kind of see. I know right now that the planning commission is the one that does the new road addresses and 911 addresses. I want to make it clear, I don't want the authority to be the only one named roads. We want the, according to TCA, back when the 911 was established, it was up to the county commission to give us authority on 911 addressing, and it still is. It's up to you guys, it's up to city councils. But I know there's been some confusion in the past that we wanted to take it over. We, by no means, I don't want to come up with the road names, I don't want to do any of that. What I'd like to be able to do is before a road name was given or an address given out, we would like to have the authority to say, hold on, let's do it the way the state wants it done. Because what we run into, those of you familiar, when the 911 first went out, it was supposed to be that no repetitive addresses in the county. Well, if anybody's ever been on Skyline, you've got about 20 of them in the county, and it depends on what city. It's lane, road, whatever. So those are all issues that, it's one thing to sell a house on Skyline, but it's another thing for me to get an ambulance to you on Skyline, or get an officer to you if you're on Skyline. Because if that 911 call comes in, and we're trying to get you to Skyline Lane in Harriman, and you're shaking, upset, and you give us Skyline Road or Skyline Drive, and we don't get the city, then we're gonna have to send multiple people to multiple agencies. Now, the good thing is, with technology now, we can pinpoint your phones and your GPS coordinates that way, but it still makes it hard for us to send an ambulance to fire or law enforcement. The other thing with the county, since it's grown as much as it is, anytime they put a private drive in or a private road, and you guys, I've talked to Commissioner Brackett, some other ones about, one of the roads, things that we run into the other day was, I think it's Hummingbird Lane or Hummingbird Way down South River off River Road. Problem with that is that road used to be one farm, and it used to be one driveway. And they did the right thing, they came to us, they asked what we thought, they gave us 2 or 3 names. All we signed off on, all we said was that the address, the Hummingbird Way or Lane, whatever it was they wanted, did not conflict with anything else in the county. Well, then they bring that to the county, and I don't know the steps they have to go through, but then we get a resolution saying that road is that road. The problem is, we got contacted the other day by the post office because the house that was originally there that's still addressed River Road has never been changed. So if you try to get 911 on that, you're not gonna find that house. Because it's on Hummingbird, but it's still addressed as River Road. Now, we have it marked and we have it in our CAD. I've talked to Miss Beth here, talking about her address, because when 911 first went in, they come to her and asked her to give them a new name. Of course, this is back 20, 30 years ago, whenever it first happened. And they renamed the road, but they never changed the 911 address. So she actually has 2 addresses. Her mailbox and she gets her mail, it's the Armand Road. But her other address is a different name. So for us, for 911, it's important for us to do that. So I would just like to ask the commission, and anytime you guys have questions, feel free to get a hold of me. I'm more willing to help and try to straighten some of this out. I would like to, I don't know if I need to go to the planning commission to have, I've sat down and I have come up with some policies that we would like to implement. I've ran those by Mr. Lefevue. Like I said, it's been over a year ago. He said they were simplified enough to where the general public can understand, but I think it gives us all, I know I've talked to Mr. Kofer, I've talked to the property assessor, and we're always trying to figure out a better way to do it, so we're all on the same page. Because Mr. Kofer's office, they'll send them to us to get one thing, and then the highway department sends them to get another. And we kind of got to come up with a way to kind of interact with everybody and come up with one game plan, everybody's secured on that. I just need to ask the commission what steps I need to take or who I might need to take this to next. And if you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
So are you not you're not on the planning commission at all?
I'm not, I'm not. I'm gonna try to get back into that more. Like I said, now that I've kinda got stuff settled down, that's why I've not been here before, cause I'm trying to make sure I had in-house things run. We're finally at full staff and functioning well, so I'm trying to start branching out, so I can make it to planning commission meetings or meet with whoever, to start going forward to see. I just, in talking to, Mr. Leffey in the past, the TCA says that the commission can give us the authority, and we need the authority to do stuff, but we don't need to be the authority. And even then, in the TCA, it says if we are given the authority to name roads, the commission or the city council or whoever it may be still has to vote those change and vote on that. That's not something that we need. I talked to Mr. Hooks about it, because him coming as the former director, me and him talking, if somebody wanted to name a road after Mr. Hooks, that's fine, but we can't have 25 Mr. Hooks and you change all those around, because ultimately we need to be able to get to that person or that individual or that house if it's on fire. If you need fire, EMS, we need to simplify it. But that would be, if the commission come to me and said, hey, we're wanting to change Mr. Hook's address, it's now whatever it is, we're going to change it to Hook's Way. As long as we look and we go through our records, our 911 records and our CAD, which is our computer stuff that shows us the whole county, and we say, okay, well, there's not another one of those, that's fine. Or there is one, so let's make it Mike Hook's Way, or something to that effect. We can justify, we can show that we're not having repetitive addresses, and it makes it a lot easier on both the first responders. It also will make it in the future for anybody moving to Roane County, that if they're looking for places, if they say, hey, I'm looking at a house on Skyline, they can find the right Skyline, don't have to go all over the county to find it.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Brackett.
In a nutshell, what you're saying, we're getting a lot of properties that's maybe getting subdivided. Kind of like what these farms, 5 acres, 3 acres. So before maybe we vote on another road name or something, maybe we get this in some type of ABC,
Need a proposal.
because we're talking about show-up time, we're talking about life and death, so nothing that anybody comes in here with wanting to change a road name, maybe until we get that
And I do have, like I said, I've got a rough draft of a street act policy that we kind of looked at, that I can get to the planning commission or whoever needs that. I didn't come with that all tonight, I didn't, not long enough to go into that. But I can go in more depth and explain that in more depth and kind of explain a little bit more, because ultimately it comes down to, like you said, if we can't find you, then we can't help you. And I think, and you guys talking about, I think earlier, even with like this industrial park in Oak Ridge, people don't realize, but you got to address every building that you're putting up there. And Oak Ridge has to do it, we have to do it. So anything you add in business-wise, if you put in, if a new business comes in, it may come into an old building, but if we're not given that new business information, we don't know to update that. So we may send you back out to what we used to call one thing is now something else. And so there can be confusion there, even with business licenses, new structures, those kind of things.
Mr. Walker, let me suggest and submit this to you. Develop what you've got in your packet or whatever. Take it to the planning commission. The planning commission can bring it to the full commission in a resolution, and we'll review it then. How about that?
That works. That's the direction I was going to ask. Okay, and if you guys have any questions, like I said, feel free to reach out. I'll try to do my best to answer them individually as well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else want to address the county commission? All right. Hearing none, seeing none, we'll go to the county attorney's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was told yesterday by the HME attorney that they have accepted the offer that we talked about last month. I'm waiting on documentation and to see when they will be paying the county and when the title will be transferred from the county. But it is in process. I hope to have more to report to you next month. that is all I have to report. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Then we'll move to the county executive report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You all refer to the rundown for you. There's 3 invitations that you have on there. The first 2 points, just want to point those out to you. The most important date I want to point out to you is the 4th point, and that is that County Government Day registration opens on Wednesday. So please, 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 if you all are planning on attending County Government Day in Nashville on February 17th and 18th, can you please let Bonnie or Kaylee know by close of business tomorrow, if at all possible. We'd love, because we want to get you all the rooms that you need. But if we wait past that, we end up having to try to fit us into different places, and it just gets difficult. So if at all possible, and if it's not, we'll deal with it, but if at all possible, please let our office know by close of business tomorrow if you all plan on going to county government.
They will go fast.
That's my point. They will go super fast. So Bonnie will be working on that first thing Wednesday morning, and so please let us know. Also in front of you, you have a report from Molly Hardy from the Property Assessor's Office. She and I have been talking about getting you all an update about where they are in the reappraisal process. Number one thing I want to point out to you there, a couple of things. Number one, she and I are going to be working to continue to do more education throughout the county, social media wise, about what the reappraisal process means to our taxpayers. But also too, she wanted you all to understand this is the first time ever that we've done a truly in-house reappraisal. Always before the state of Tennessee provided great assistance, and this is the first time that we're doing this all on our own. So they've been working hard and doing a good job, and she's doing relatively well too. So just know that's in front of you. And the last thing I want to point out is there's also in front of you is it's actually a 3-pager. I called it a 1-pager, but it's from Pinnacle IT Associates. They are our IT security company. I asked Joe Cox, who's the executive director there, or the president there, to put together a summary of where we were and where we are when it comes to IT security. And I hope you all appreciate and are as impressed as I am when you read through that about all that they have been able to do to get us and be as secure as we are. It is a never-ending journey, as he says in there. We will always have to be pushing more and more and more to be as secure as we can be. But the steps that we've made to be secure in IT are impressive, and I really appreciate all that Joe's done, and I hope you all read over that document. And Mr. Chairman, that is all I have. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for the county attorney?
Sure. Wait, on your report, if people don't think we're growing, our revenues are up year to date. Our expenditures are up just a little bit. Our building and codes fees, you know, when we hired those folks, we said if they don't pay, you're gonna lose them. Well, I think they're safe right now.
We're not in danger.
About $275,000 to the good, which tells us that most of them are homes as well. So the growth area, and that's our long-range planning, which they've done a great job. So that's probably only going to get worse as we open up other areas with sewer and stuff. So that's everything is plus. So
yeah, there's some great information in this rundown. I hope you all really pay attention to. You know, this we reinforced data-driven decision making, and a lot of what you're looking at is guiding how we react or plan. So the things that you're pointing out, you know, we're about plus 12% on revenue and plus 7% on expenditures. Well, half of that 7% is in raises at 3.5%. The other half, 3.5%, is inflation, which is about what inflation's been. So we're right where we planned on being.
And on our expenditure side, like our insurance, where we prepay insurance,
Yes.
is that in this number, or do we divide that over the year?
So, are you talking about medical insurance?
No,
I apologize.
just our property and casualty insurance that we pay in July. We prepay in July, right?
No, it's quarterly.
Quarterly payments, never mind. Scratch that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chair recognizes Dr. Hamilton.
County Mayor, you had said last month that we were gonna start kind of the next phase of our long-range plan. Do you have
Yes.
an idea when we're gonna do that?
I met with Glenn and Brooke last week as we are doing the planning for the plan. And getting a presentation ready for you all. We changed our approach a little bit to be extremely targeted, in kind of low-hanging fruit. So Brooke and Glenn are working on that presentation. We met Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember which day it was. So I'd love to have our first long-range planning committee on land use planning by the end of the month. But I wanna see that presentation, feel good about it before we call a meeting. So that's kind of where we are now. So I'm still hopeful we'll get that meeting called by the end of the month, but soon.
Thank you for the information.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other questions? All right, we'll move on. At this time, we'll move to special orders. This is confirmation of appointment of Sherry Hopwood Broadus to the Roane County Library Board as the Oliver Springs representative. Motion by Duff, a second by Commissioner Cunningham. Commissioner Duff.
Appreciate your willingness to serve.
Commissioner Cunningham.
Nothing further.
All right, any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries. Then confirmation of appointment for the Budget Committee. You have the names,
I do. Mr. Chairman, the budget committee for the calendar year 2025 will be Ron Berry, Ben Wilson, Travis Parks, and Lance Duff. And as I say that, I want to, if you give me just a point of privilege here, to say a couple words first. I thank both of them during the budget committee, but I want to say this publicly about how much I appreciate Commissioner Gann and Commissioner Hooks for their service, first and foremost. Being on the budget committee is hard work, and it requires a great level of engagement, attention to detail, and it's just work. But the compassion, the amount of energy and thoughtfulness that both of them have put into it, and just how good they've been to work with, has meant the world to me in my 2.5 years of being able to work with them on this. I just want to thank them publicly for their service on the budget committee. And then on the appointment of Commissioner Duff and Commissioner Parks, I have really had several conversations, thought about it, prayed about it, and looked strategically about how to best position us to pass this budget and the best composition of this, what the budget committee needed to look like in terms of again, building credibility with the entire commission, of adding minds and perspectives that I think are going to help us address unique issues to this particular budget. And talking to Lance, Russell and I go back and forth, Mr. Jenkins and I go back and forth on some issues that we try to get on the same page with during the school budget. School budget's got some additional challenges in the coming year with state funding and how that changes things, and TISA, and what our sales tax collections look like. So having Lance available as a liaison there, I think can help us with the schools. I say a lot of words to say how much appreciative I am for those who have served, how much excited I am for looking at those to serve with, and the fact, here's the last thing I'll say about it, is that this is a rollover of 2 members that I anticipate using as a practice. As I've already talked to Commissioner Wilson and Commissioner Berry about rotating frequency, just as you all have done on committees. Commissioner Hamilton in this year is trying to roll over some of our committees so we end up in more permanent situations. So we will do that more. So Commissioner Wilson and Berry will be rolling off in the next year to 2. We'll see how that works out. And then we'll be working with some of you all to be able to serve in those roles. It's just such a educational opportunity to see the budget process played out. So want to be able to do that. But this budget committee has been fantastic to work with. I'm looking forward to the next one. Thanks, sir.
all right, before we go into debate, I need a motion and a second. All right, motion by Hooks, a second by Brackett. Commissioner Hooks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'd just like to say, I guess I'm the oldest serving committee member on the budget committee. I have served and then I don't remember now how many years that I've been on the commission, but I've served every year except one. And I'd have to go back and find out the reason, probably voted wrong. But I thoroughly have enjoyed, Mr. Chairman, serving on that committee. And look forward to serving again. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just moving over and letting somebody else take a chance at it. But I have thoroughly enjoyed working in the budget committee and working for the employees of the county. I always work for the employees of the county. If we can't do it for the employees, then we can't do nothing, because our employees of the county makes it happen. And I want to thank our employees. I want to thank the ones that scratches their head in the middle of the night and say, well, we can do it like this, and bring reports to us that kind of makes sense. And to my knowledge, we never fought. But all I can say is it needs to be, I mean, I might die tomorrow. Somebody has to step up and take a place, whether it's a department head, I'm going to make this short, whether it's a department head or most critical person in government. Everybody needs to know what the one ahead of them knows. That's how government works. Thank you, Mr. County Executive, for kicking me off the budget.
And I thought you said you were short-winded earlier. Commissioner Brackett, you had a second.
I just like to echo what Mr. Hook said, and also,
Please don't repeat it.
always, I always, you know, the taxpayers, we keep them in mind as well. That's it.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Berry.
Mr. Hooks, at least you didn't get a year or two notice that you're going to get. Seriously, I just want to say thanks to Commissioner Gann, Commissioner Hooks. You know, when you look at the financial position of the county, whether we have anything to do with it or not, you look to the budget committee. Fortunately, guys, we're stronger and better now than when they came on the budget committee. So thanks to them for their support, their help, you know, and their guidance, because we're gonna need that as well. And a lot of commissioners, you know, you look to the budget committee for guidance. So we thank you for supporting us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any other discussion, any other debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries. All right, that moves us into our zoning resolution. That's 12501 Zulu. This is the zoning that we spoke about earlier. Motion by Brackett, second by Gann. Commissioner Brackett.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Commissioner Gann.
Nothing.
Any other discussion, any other debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries. 15.
Chairman, could you give me just a moment to add because we did vote on it just now, but I have to switch the heading, is that okay?
Yeah,
So take
go ahead.
just a moment. So this will be number 1, okay?
Okay, I understand.
Okay, we're good.
All right, this is Resolution 012501, resolution authorizing the county attorney to file lawsuits against each property owner regarding the properties as listed on the attached case. And that's Resolution 1 and 2 is both the same property owners. Is that the way I understand that?
That's correct.
All right, need a motion? All right, I got a motion by Parks and a second by Hooks. Commissioner Parks.
No, nothing further. I don't have anything.
Commissioner Hooks,
Nothing further.
I do.
Commissioner Wilson.
Of all the ones that you've submitted, all these pictures, this one disturbed me probably more than any other one. Were they actually living in this facility?
Yes, sir. There was, the day we went up there and served the administrative warrant, there was 14 people living in those pieces of double wides.
I honestly couldn't stop staring at it. The more that I looked at it, the more disturbing it got.
It's a miracle nobody's got killed. The neighborhood out there, the folks that live right down from there, their lives have been miserable for about a year and a half, 2 years.
Were they causing problems around there, or?
Oh, yeah.
They were?
Yeah. The sheriff's department's been out there numerous times.
Of all the ones that's ever been submitted, this one by far has the record for being the worst.
It was bad.
Do what?
It was bad.
Yeah.
We got a few more that's fixing to come to you that are dealing with the same basic situation of a homeless encampment.
So how's this gonna get cleaned up? Obviously, they don't have the funds.
If she doesn't take care of it, we'll have to bid it out and do it ourselves and put a lien on the property.
And where are they now?
They've
Have they
done
been
nothing.
evicted? Do what?
They've done nothing. They cleaned up one piece of property that we did before. No, we cleaned it up. And, I've talked to the owner. Her brother was supposed to come in and help her. Her brother has equipment and stuff. Nobody's done a thing. It's still the same way.
And that's beyond living.
Oh, yeah. Guys, there's no facilities, or they're dumping stuff out on the ground.
I wish we had, in all honesty, I wish we could be able to put this up on the screen and show the rest of what we're actually talking about, how bad it was, so. That's all I have. I was just disturbed by it.
The chair recognizes Commissioner Goss.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to chime in on something Glenn hit on this a minute, is the homeless. Recently in Midtown, we had a business that's been there, been owned by families for years and years. It was actually a usable building, but some of it was blighted, but it dealt with the homeless, and it's not, we've got it in Midtown. I got some notifications the other day, I was talking to somebody down the Eagle Furnace about something I was gonna give with commissioners from that district about. But that's something else, we've talked about, we've gotta do something about the homeless issues in this county. Now, who has the answer, I don't know. But it's leading not just to costing money for, if we have to tear it down. Now this building's burnt down, this gentleman's going to fork out the money, because we didn't have insurance on it. So this is a forever growing issue, and it's just gonna keep getting worse. So I do want to commend Glenn and his staff. Everything I've reported to them about, they've been phenomenal working on it. And, I do thank them for that. That's all I have to say.
All right, Mr. Berry.
Yes. Are we getting an increasing number of people living in RVs?
We have, not had too many request permits yet, but they're finding it out.
Are we living without permits?
Yes. But we'll address those as we get the complaints and find them, yeah. Yes, sir. And where they'll be allowed under the ordinance that we got is in the A1, A2 areas. So that at least gives us some sort of control.
It just seems like everywhere you go around the county now, you're seeing more and more.
Yeah, it's about as cheap a housing as somebody can come up with, so that's why the RV committee did what they did. And I appreciate that committee for what they came up with and what they put forward. It will help people, but it also will help protect the citizens of Roane County around that property also. Thank you.
All right, any other discussion, any other debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries. All right, resolution 12502, this is dealing with the same property. It's authorizing the county attorney to file a lawsuit regarding the properties as listed in the attached case So this is a request one for violating Roane County Resolution 12/18/05. This is regarding the building code section. The other one was vegetation, this is the building code section. So I have a motion by Commissioner Hendrickson, second by Duff. Commissioner Hendrickson.
None further.
Commissioner Duff.
Nothing further.
Any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries. Resolution 125-03, resolution requesting the 114th session of the Tennessee General Assembly to allocate one half of the real estate transfer tax to the county where the tax was collected on a recurring basis. Motion by Berry, a second by Parks. Commissioner Berry.
Yes, sir. This tax has been levied over the years, and one that the Tennessee County Commissioners Association has worked on to try to get, actually it was by a commissioner in Knoxville, whereby when they established this tax, they were doing everything manually. So they had 12 to 15 people operating this, and now they've got about 2 people, and all they're asking for is to give us some of our money back because of the automation and stuff and technology that they have. So that's one of the things that we're trying to get out of this.
All right, second was by Commissioner Parks.
Is there a bill, and was this supporting a bill, or what?
I have not seen a bill yet, but this is, like Commissioner Berry said, this is a point of emphasis for County Commissioner Association. It's also the #1 thing for the Association of County Mayors this year, as our point of emphasis. But I have not seen legislation that this would support. I'm anticipating that there is, if there's not, there's gotta be a bill, right? We just haven't seen it yet.
They've been trying to get somebody, this has been about a 3-year process trying to get this far. I would anticipate this year that somebody would carry that bill, because the biggest problem in the past has been the loss of revenue by the state.
All right, any other discussion?
As soon as I do find it, the legislation, I'll get that.
All right, hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries. Resolution 125-04, authorizing the county attorney to file suit concerning Broken Arrow Point. Motion by Commissioner Duff, second by Commissioner Duff.
We've got to keep our roads safe, so, we need to support this.
Commissioner Hendrickson.
Need to be took care of, thanks.
All right, Chair recognizes Commissioner Brackett.
I guess I've got a question on this. Is the landowner not wanting these trees cut, or is he wanting the county to cut them?
No, the trees are on private property, they're hanging over the road. And the highway department has asked that a suit be filed to either require him to cut them or to authorize the highway department to go onto the private property and cut them.
So I guess they're impeding traffic, different things. I mean, I just.
Well, they're subject to falling on the road from what has been explained to me by the highway department. There are several trees that a good wind could knock them over, and there are trees with branches hanging over the road. So it was expressed to me by the highway department that that's a danger for passing vehicles and they need to be cut.
Are we getting in a hard situation, I guess, by voting on this? I mean, all over the county roads, I mean, we have that problem, right? How do we?
It's my understanding that this particular road is really narrow. There's not much of a margin after the right-of-way, and this is on private property. So, I mean, yes, it can translate to other roads in that situation, because we can't go on private property and cut trees without authorization.
I guess asking you, the attorney, are we opening ourselves up to an open book, I guess, with this. But to be a widespread, I mean, it just looks to me that, and I don't know if it makes sense.
I
but
don't really understand your question, or what are you?
I feel like there's more than one property in the county. And I feel like this is gonna open a Pandora's box or a door that will have people coming here jumping up and down, you're on my property, or you're gonna soak it. I just don't.
Are you asking if we're intruding?
Are we intruding? That's what I'm saying. This is gonna be more than one. I can't imagine there's one through the whole county, I guess.
The only way I know to answer your question is if you got a county road, you got an obligation to keep it safe for people passing on it. That's a liability because it's specifically imposed upon you. So if you've got a situation where trees are on private property and they are subject to falling on a passing vehicle, then you have an obligation to protect these people. So this is the only way we can do it if they don't voluntarily cut the trees. And as to whether there are other roads in this situation, I can't answer that. The highway department probably can, but you do have an obligation to keep these roads safe, and, you know, if cutting trees is one of those obligations.
And through this lawsuit, if we do this in the county department, so we're paying for it at that point, correct? Not the property owner, or will he have to reimburse the road department?
Well, the lawsuit is to ask the property owner, to have the court make the property owner cut. Now, if the property owner won't cut them, or the court says the county has to do it, we will ask for reimbursement through the lawsuit.
All right, Chair recognizes Commissioner Parks.
So, couldn't you make that argument about every tree in a roadway? I mean,
Okay, I'm not a tree expert. And in order to prevail, the county is gonna have to put on some proof from a tree expert as to what trees are subject to falling.
that's what I'm getting at, you know, so you really, I mean, if it's laying across the road and it's trucks and vehicles are smacking it, that's one thing, it's obstructing the road. But if it's hanging 60 foot in the air and it's hanging somewhat over the road, to me, that's not obstructing the roadway. And it could fall today, tomorrow, or 10 years from now, just like any tree could. And so that's what I'm getting at. You're gonna have to prove that tree is gonna fall, and it's a danger to people passing by.
Right, the county.
And that's gonna be hard to do.
The county has the burden of proving that tree is gonna fall, and what the county's gonna have to do is hire a tree expert to come out and look at these.
So the real question
And then the other side may hire another tree expert to look at it. So,
Ultimately, this is public safety.
Anything else, Commissioner Parks?
No, that's all I have.
Commissioner Ferguson.
Greg, will it be left up to the road superintendent to say that them trees are a danger and go in there, or is there any way we can charge, you can charge them for cutting the trees? I know that he's responsible for the roads, and I know if there's something dangerous, but being on private property, is that a different deal from, when a tree falls in the road, most times it's on private property anyway. You know what I mean, when a tree falls, it knocks the power line out or something like that, most times it's on private property when they have to clean the road, so what's the difference between that and this deal? I guess my question.
So if I don't want to interject here, but I actually went and looked at it, and you can do it on Google Earth. It becomes a little man in the car or whatever, and drive like Google did. You'll see those leaning. I'd say they're striking your school buses as they go through there every day. They're definitely gonna strike a dump truck, that goes down there and solid. So, I mean, they are leaning over. And Greg, I don't think you need an expert. If they wanna hire me, I'll go there and tell them. But
They are pine, which is, has less of a root ball. See, there's that expert coming in. Yeah. So, but they are a hazard, but I don't know if the individual's willing to cut it themselves.
That's what I was asking, is there any way we can get the money back, or that's just something we have to, I know the buses, I know they probably have a hard time on some, the mirrors and stuff like that, so to me, if it's danger to the county, hurting somebody or something, looks to me like they could cut them. I don't know, that's really asking you.
Well, as
I know
part of
you said
the,
people are tree experts.
as part of the lawsuit, we'll be asking that the landowner has to reimburse the county if the county has to cut the trees. That's part of what we'll be asking for. Now, we go in front of the judge and the judge tells us what we get and what we don't get, but that's what we'll be asking for.
All right, Chair recognizes Commissioner Gann.
So I apologize for this. I really liked your comment about not being a tree expert, so if we had to use you, paying you, we're gonna use you for what we can. Going back to Mr. Brackett, and I really appreciate what he said, and I think what he said was, are we intruding on the property owner if we, or the county decides that a tree is unsafe? If I own property that's next to a highway, I don't want somebody coming in, cutting my trees. If they're a hazard, then yeah, we'll deal with that. Just last year, I had someone in my district who had a tree just right off the county right away. The tree was rotten, and they couldn't afford to get the tree cut. Senior citizen, and they honestly could not afford to get it cut. So we went to cut the tree for them. But if it would have failed, it would have failed the road. But the highway superintendent could not cut the tree, and he wanted to. He said, "Ben, I would like to." He said, "But I cannot because it's not on county property." So he could not do it. So we don't have that right now to do that. So how would we achieve the right to be able to do it right here? We're going to say that we're going to take the property owner's right to say this tree or that tree. So if whether it's a tree, a structure, any other thing that's on my property, is it really right for the county to say that's unsafe? Whether you bring in an expert or not. I own that piece of property. I pay taxes on that piece of property. That belongs to me. Is it really fair for the county to say that that's unsafe?
We
or
do it
that's
with
not?
buildings.
Huh?
We do it with buildings.
I think the tree's already failed. By now.
Yeah. Well, we're talking to dead horse, but I don't want to take away the property owner's right.
Well, let me answer it by giving you another scenario. You and I live next door to each other, that's the scenario. I got a tree on my property that's about to fall on your house. You don't want it to fall on your house. I don't want to cut it. Under the law, you have the right to sue me under our nuisance laws, under our general nuisance laws, to ask the court to either force me to cut it or to allow you to, or to give you an injunction to allow you to cut it to save your house. That's all we're doing in this lawsuit, is we're asking the court to somehow remedy the nuisance of these trees falling on the road. Now, we have to prove for each tree that we want cut, we have the burden of proving that that tree is a nuisance that is subject to falling on the road, hitting a car, hitting a pedestrian, or it's got leaves, or it's got branches that are hanging over the road that are subject to hitting vehicles. So that's all we're doing, is just filing something under the state's general nuisance laws.
I could have used this Saturday, so my neighbor's field is beside my driveway, a big 20-foot pine tree falls across a driveway, tears out my fence in the field. I asked him if he has a chainsaw, and his response to me was, I knew that tree was gonna fall sooner or later, but we took care of it, so.
But that's all we're doing.
All right, Chair recognizes Commissioner Goss.
Can we not go in above where this tree's hanging over the road?
It's not one tree, guys, it's not one tree.
They're all over the county.
Oh, yeah, well, they're all over the county, but I mean, we're talking
No,
about
I'm talking this property. If you look on Google Earth and get in a little Google car and drive through there, it's a whole bunch of trees. It ain't one, it's a whole bunch.
So we're gonna have to pay somebody to come,
It ain't one
whatever
tree.
you call this guy, to look and say for sure that this tree is, is that what you're saying?
And the road ain't but 10 foot wide, you gotta stop anyway, but 2 mules passing.
Well, I agree with these other guys, it's all over the county, so.
No, it is, but
I mean, we're gonna pay an arborist or whatever these people are you call them.
don't pay him, come see me.
There's gotta be a compromise somewhere.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Hooks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's always been a question of mine. We're not allowed to get on private property and work, but yet when a tree falls, one part of it's still on private property, and the other part of it is on the county road. That's always bothered me. And the county, the taxpayers across the county, and we do it for everybody. And I like that system, as being good neighbors, because most people couldn't afford to clean it up. But there has to be some means of responsibility. If I drive by that tree every day and it keeps leaning a little bit at a time, there's got to be some responsibility taken. And I think, and Greg knows better than I am, but it seems to me like it ought to be more than just a nuisance. I mean, if the county road department gave you notice that it is causing damage to county property, whether it's an ambulance, fire truck, or the possibility of it falling on a vehicle and killing someone, if they have gave you notice, then I think they ought to be liable, 100%, if they don't do anything about it. Maybe we ought to get a law changed out, you know. But I see signs out in my, Mr. Chairman, I see signs out in my area all the time. Do not cut, do not mow along this area. So there you go, what do you do?
Chair recognizes Commissioner Berry.
Mr. Chairman, as long as I've ever served on this commission, I think this is the first time that I've ever seen a road superintendent request permission to help, to get some help over a road that's impeding with trees. So I'm assuming that Dennis has looked at this thing and he's out of options, and as we look to the road superintendent for guidance on this thing, I can't imagine that he would want to spend his time and money in court unless he felt like he had an awfully good position. But this is the first time we've ever been faced. I think. Have you ever had one of these before?
Several years ago, we had this issue with this same property owner.
Oh.
And I don't remember if it went this far or not. I remember we were we had talked about filing a suit, and we wound up not filing a suit, so I don't know if he took care of those trees or not, but there was something that was at one point going to come before you.
Very rare.
Similar to this.
Very rare. So I mean, I'll just go back inside with our road superintendent that if he's willing to do this, let's do it. Let's get it done. Before they fall at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then we're paying overtime, double time, all kinds of stuff. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman.
and to be honest with you, I don't remember seeing the power line where the power feed was, whether it's on the road or comm lines, either way. Either way, any other discussion, any other debate on this, tree issue? All right, hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, 12 yes, 3 no, motion carries. All right, resolution 12505, placing surplus certain Roane County ambulance chassis that will be traded to allow remount of ambulance box onto a new chassis. Motion by Commissioner Hendricks, second by Commissioner Kirby. Commissioner Henderson.
You don't need it, let's get rid of it.
All right. Commissioner Kirby. Any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, resolution carries 15. Resolution to approve the 3-year agreement with Flinger Security Systems for the installation and monitoring of burglar alarm systems at the Roane County Codes Enforcement Office. Motion by Commissioner Wilson, a second by Commissioner Gann. Commissioner Wilson.
Nothing further, speaks for itself.
Commissioner Gann.
Nothing.
All right, any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries 15. Resolution 12507, resolution reflect changes in revenue expenditures in the general fund for the community-based traffic safety enforcement and an educational grant for fiscal year 24-25. Motion by Wilson, second by Henderson. Commissioner Wilson.
These are the kind of grants we like, 0% match, $10,000 from the Department of Safety, been through budget, nothing further.
Commissioner Henderson.
Nothing further.
Any discussion, any debate? Madam Clerk. Country boy.
Get with it.
15. Sure. All right, resolution 12508, a resolution to amend the resolution 122408, Riley Creek fee schedule, that was approved December 9th, 2024. Motion by Henderson, second by Brackett. Commissioner Henderson.
That's just bringing us up to date with everybody else.
Commissioner Brackett.
I had several calls, believe it or not being in that district, over this, raising the rates, but again, I'll be voting no.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other discussion, any other debate? Commissioner Berry.
Mr. Chairman, really all this did, there was a mistake in the fee structure on the, let's see, what was it? On the weekend.
Yeah.
The weekend, it was
There's clarification and
so that's really the only difference, that we had.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Wrong. All right, motion carries 13-2. All right, resolution 12509, a resolution amending the general purpose school fund 141, reflecting changes to revenue expenditures estimated 24-25 fiscal year. Motion by Wilson, second by Henderson. Commissioner Wilson.
This is grant funds, CTE money, and no new money. And I think some of this money is coming from the opioid settlement fund, if I'm correct, Derek. And it's been through budget, nothing further.
All right, Commissioner Henderson.
Nothing further.
All right, any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Berry.
No, I'm sorry, I canceled it.
All right, call the roll. Motion carries 15. 12510, a resolution to approve the campground management agreement with Tisha Jarnigan for the management of the Riley Creek Campground 24-25 season. Motion by Kirby, second by Gann. Commissioner Kirby.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Gann.
Nothing.
Any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk? All right, motion carries 15. All right, 12511, resolution of the governing body of Roane County, Tennessee, authorizing the issuance, sale, and payment of General Fund 101, interfund, load capital outlay. Motion by Hendrickson, second by Commissioner Parks. Commissioner Hendrickson.
None further.
Commissioner Parks.
Nothing further.
All right, any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries 15. Resolution 12512, resolution reflects changes to revenue expenditure on the Highway Fund 131 for paving projects that were approved through the ARP funds on December 9, 2024. Motion by Wilson, second by Brackett. Commissioner Wilson.
This money's already been moved from the ARP fund, just correcting it up in the budget. It's already been through budget.
Commissioner Brackett.
Just glad it's gone, and hopefully the EOC gets a little bit of relief on that parking lot.
Any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries 15. Resolution 12513, a resolution to amend the General Capital Project Fund 171, balance revenue for the TVA impact funds. Motion by Wilson, second by Cunningham. Commissioner Wilson.
After get our second speaking, I'd like to yield to the county executive on this.
Commissioner Cunningham.
In November, we received these impact funds, $948,000 from TVA for the construction of a gas-fired power plant that they're building out on the peninsula at TVA, or Kingston Fossil Plant. We will receive these funds, the same amount for 3 years. I think it's 3, and then 75% of this amount, 50%, 25%. So these funds will continue to come in for a few years. And by the time these funds begin depleting, they should be constructing a new small modular reactor on the Clinch River site, which will also have impact funds. So this is good that Budget Committee chose to put this in 171 balance. So just to set it aside and restrict it there, hold it there until we decide as a group what we want to spend it on. That's it.
All right, any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries 15. Resolution 12514 to amend the revenue expenditures in the General Capital Fund 171 CHJ Courthouse and Jail Maintenance to complete the painting of the project at Roane County Courthouse. Motion by Wilson, second by Kirby. Commissioner Wilson.
So I had a question on this. I guess this is to you, Ms. Farmer. So we were doing work on the courthouse, doing painting, and they run into some more issues than what was anticipated. It was around 51. They had $11,000, and $40,000 is what's needing to be moved over to correct that. Do you know what those repairs consisted of that went that far over? Do you remember?
It was, the general molding and just the woodwork was a lot more than we had allowed in the bid.
It was deteriorated, got some water leak? Okay. Just making sure. Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
All right, any discussion, any debate? Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Kirby, you had a second. I didn't go to you. All right, any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries 15. All right, 2515, resolution to amend the 101 General Fund in the U.S. Department of Justice Office Justice Program Patrick Lee Bulletproof Vest Partnership. And this is a grant. Commissioner Wilson.
So this is pretty standard. It's a 50% match, which is just about what we do every time on it. They've reached their expiration, so we get a little help on them.
Commissioner Duff.
Nothing further.
All right, any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. If, no other business has come, for the county commission at this time, we already did 16. Send it.
I thought you were getting ready to adjourn, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I am.
I was just gonna say, I had a chance Friday to ride around with the road superintendent a little bit. Guys, we're extremely fortunate to have, Mr. Brooks was talking about employees and stuff, and we do, all over this county, we're blessed. And to see those guys get out, and one thing that we're gonna need to do though, we're working on a lot of, antiquated equipment and stuff down there, guys. I mean, we've got 1989 dump trucks, we've got, just stuff that would make life easier. These snowstorms are more frequent now, the salt's eating up our roads, so we're gonna need to pay attention to our road superintendent with equipment and the ability to do some things. Great employees everywhere. Thank you.
All right, no other business, from the commission, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Second by Henry. All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye.